Welcome to IELTS Band Up, where IELTS is made easy. Hello everybody, Adam here with another IELTS Band Up video. I've got a very special video for you today. I'm interviewing one of my very good friends, Patrick Laird, who is currently an IELTS examiner. It's not his real name, but because he is a current examiner, I have to hide his information and, I just don't want him to get in trouble. So unfortunately, I will be preventing you from seeing his handsome face. You're just stuck with me. In the interview, this is one of, a few. It's a long interview where we talk about a variety of topics, things related to IELTS, how examiners really think. So I think you'll really find it useful. Please, if you could, subscribe, tell other people. This channel is very useful. Between the two of us, we have 20 years of IELTS examining experience. So I really hope you like this. Please subscribe and enjoy the interview. One more thing I want to mention is I apologize for the sound quality. I'm not sure whether it was the Zoom software or my microphone, but Patrick sounds quite clear. I don't. I'm a little disappointed in the sound quality. You can hear me well, but again, I'm a little disappointed in the sound quality, but I'm very happy with the content. So enjoy the video. The other funny thing is, I don't know how much, it's just worth mentioning while I have you on. Like, how many times have you had a candidate where deep, I guess it's a weird way to say it, but deep in your heart or deep in like somewhere, this person's fluent. And my example is a gentleman who I'm just going to say, he's much smarter than me. Probably had he would studied medicine in the Netherlands. He'd received his master's and doctorate. Like he just spent most of his life. But when he came to do the IELTS test,
he didn't make it past 1 minute on part 2, was it?
Well, it was more brazen than that.
Oh, gosh.
Again, this is the extreme example. It's a rarity, but you can't just say you can't act like you're too good for the exam. Like his answers were short. I specifically remember one question where I'd asked him for people who are starting a new job in a company, what could the company do to make it more comfortable? And his answer, and he'd been short the whole test, and we're in part 3 by now, and he said, well, I've never started a new job. And we have to not try, for me, I struggle the odd time, but you have to not get annoyed, but I couldn't help myself. I'm like, but surely you've known someone who's worked at a new company, or you've watched a drama or a sitcom.
Help me out here.
Yeah, what could those people do? And he just doubled down. He's just like, well, I've never done it, so I'm not answering. I'm like,
yeah,
okay, man. And by the end of the exam, his score was, if I remember correctly, it was like 9 for pronunciation, 8 for grammar, and then a 6 for lexical, because he just didn't say anything.
That doesn't surprise me, and I agree. I have candidates here in the UK who they're almost fluent, almost native,
right,
and they don't give long answers. And there is a fine line between giving overly short answers and overly long answers, particularly in part 1. And so my advice to a candidate in this situation is, for the first couple of questions, try to do the long answers, but then always watch for what the examiner is doing. And if the examiner is looking fidgety, you can see that they're getting almost stressed because they've got to get through their questions.
Right.
So give long answers at the beginning of part 1, if you can.
Right.
And then just watch the examiner for their cues, their body language, because they may not want you to give long answers for the rest, and that might it might affect your vocabulary score because they can't move on to the other questions, which doesn't give you an opportunity to talk about the different subjects and showcase your vocabulary. Well, I have been in that position where someone who's giving really short answers, and you just think, well, they didn't prepare for the test, so we have to mark them accordingly.
And again,
It's frustrating.
And to further this, I never want to generalize, but it's not just like a proficiency test, is it?
No.
It's actually like a public speaking test in a way. And I remember being a teenager and awkward, at least less awkward than I am now. And when someone asks you a question, I don't know about you, but when I first did the IELTS training, They actually put us in groups and they said, okay, guys, here we are, native speakers, talk for 2 minutes about this.
Hard. That's tough.
It's hard, man. And you're like, how do you, tell me about a time when you lost something, right? And like, you're like, I don't know. I don't want to like say because of my gender, but just a 2-minute me talking about something, it's not normal. And that's like a skill they need to practice, right? Like it's almost like
Absolutely.
a public speaking skill. So it's worth mentioning. And when we're younger, we have less life experience. We have less chance to practice telling those stories. And in my experience with people who are in high school, they can really struggle on fluency just because they can't say a lot or don't want to say a lot.
Yeah, I think sometimes, I mean, I shouldn't really say this, but sometimes I daydream during a test, especially in part 2 when the candidate is, you give them a minute to prepare.
Right.
And you look at the topic and you think, gosh, how would I answer that? And
yeah.
I think maybe 30% of the time I think to myself, I'd actually have to make something up here.
Yeah.
Because nothing springs to mind. So there's absolutely no shame, and the examiner will not care if you make something up. It's absolutely fine. But I think the practice of doing that, not making things up, but speaking for 2 minutes is far more important than getting ready for certain topics to come up, and so I wouldn't worry too much.
And we will talk about advice later, but it's worth mentioning now, like no one's going to fact check what you've said. If you give like the life story of your favorite, literary character and pretend it's your life, no one cares, right? If you're somehow Peter Pan, well,
that might be quite interesting.
Yeah, right. No one's fact checking, right? If you don't have an answer you can think of, surely you've come across something in literature, right, where you could just like pretend you were that character and just
like
go
you said
for
to
it.
your candidate, the doctor, make something up. Help me out here. Yeah.
Well, no, I just tried to get him to think like, surely you've seen something in a drama, right?
Yeah.
Like, especially, any drama where someone starts their first day, or how about your dad, or you know what I mean? Like, surely you know somebody. So it just makes something up. It's much better. And if you can't say anything, give a kind of a good reason why perhaps you can't talk about it. Thank you very much for watching, and here's some more videos that you might be interested in. Please subscribe, please share it with people, as this would really help me a lot. Give it a thumbs up, add some comments, and I wish you the best of luck on your next IELTS test.